I think you mentioned that there was a public forum that was in Columbia Heights at a church. And
Church of All Nations.
You mentioned at the judges' meeting how many different languages were being spoken there. And
there are 4 languages spoken at that church. They offer services every Sunday in 4 different languages: Korean, Portuguese, Spanish, and English. So,
okay.
And the makeup of the church we found interesting, and I wrote it down here. That church is 37% Caucasian, 30% Asian, 23% Black, 10% Latino. Mm-hmm. So it's a fairly good mix of different ethnic backgrounds. So we asked them if we could have an outreach program at their church, and Pastor Kim was excited to have us come to speak to their parish and the members of their parish, and we got a lot of good feedback. I think we had about 40 people who attended, and the first question that was asked, and we had 10 representatives of the Equal Justice Committee, different segments of the justice system being represented, and the first question that was asked of me when they looked at the 10 of us, how come there's no one of you 10 that look like me? Mm-hmm. That was the first question. Yeah. Valid question. That was a concern. People are concerned if they come into a courthouse and they don't see people that look like them, mm-hmm. whether they're going to be treated fairly or not. And that's an issue as a system that we have to address. Does the makeup of our employees reflect the broad community? Mm-hmm. And we've become more cognizant of that, I think, following this meeting. So other issues that they shared was a perception that there is racial profiling that takes place, mm-hmm. and concerns about racial profiling. There's concern about the disparity, the perceived disparity in treatment of Caucasians to people of color. They shared with us the significant barrier language has. And you know, Steve, tomorrow we meet as the Finance Committee and we talk about the budget for interpreter services for the 10th Judicial District and how that budget has just skyrocketed, mm-hmm. from 4 years ago to where it is today. And what they shared is that the courts will have an interpreter in the courtroom. But once they leave the courtroom and they're talking to court staff, mm-hmm. they're talking to probation, they're talking to other players in the system, the interpreter's not there for them. And communication is a huge hurdle for these people.
That's a concern I think all the judges have. And I know it concerns me when I'm in Wright County in our calendar where we have people that have been held in custody over the weekend, and they come in on Monday morning, and by court rule they're supposed to be heard before noon, and somebody's there, and we may be able to have an interpreter there that speaks Spanish, but if they speak Hmong, sometimes we have people from Caribbean islands that speak French, to have to then say, well, you're going to have to sit in custody for another couple hours till we get an interpreter here, that is simply not fair, and our system shouldn't be run that way, and so I know we have a real concern about that. We're going to take a brief 2-minute break and cut to a public service announcement, and we'll be right back.
License and registration, please. So you've only been driving for 5 months?
Yeah, that's right.
You know you're only allowed 1 passenger until you have 6 months of experience, unless your parents are with you.
Oh my gosh. It all started with this. Then came Court Deep.
This is when you realize you must take back control.
Yes, this is how it will change everything.
Red 116, ready, set. play, Coach?
It's the 411 on the 116.
What?
It's a new teen driving law. Provisional licensed drivers, for the first 6 months, they're allowed to have one passenger and one passenger only.
So you need a parent or a guardian with you in the car.
Run it.
Get the 411 on the 116.
Let's go, guys. We're gonna be late to the game. Come on, man.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'll put the pedal to the metal.
Whoa, slow down. I'd rather get to the game late and safe than get in a car crash.
That's right. More than 300,000 teens are injured in car crashes each year. Speak up. Tell your friends to slow down and take it easy when driving.
Oh, I just got a text from the Gopher score.
Hey, keep your eyes on the road. I'll text him for you.
You all know 62% of the teenagers talk or text message on their cell phone while driving. You need to tell your friends to put the cell phone down. You know, the leading cause of death in teenagers is car crashes. 15 fatalities every day. You're a spokesperson. Speak up.
Welcome back to the District Court Show. This is a topic today of the Equal Justice Committee, and my guests are Andre Cohen and Judge Jim Reuter. Let's talk a little bit about the communication piece. Jim, we were talking off camera about the difficulties that a lot of folks have that aren't English speaking when they come to court, not only in the courtroom but outside the courtroom. How is the committee trying to address that problem?
Well, we're trying to be creative. Andre, at one of our meetings, maybe a year and a half ago, said we're not using technology effectively and we should be employing it. So we facilitate an understanding by people who don't speak English as their primary language and may not be able to read English or, as Andre said off camera, their own native language. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to promote the statement of rights being recorded in a number of different languages that could be played in the lockup, whether it's a county jail or wherever, prior to coming to court. So everyone would receive those rights. They would have to identify their native language, but then it should be available for them in their native language. And then when they come into the courtroom, the judge can say, ask if that Mr. Jones or whatever has had his rights read to him while in custody, and the bailiff or the jail staff can assure us that they've been read the rights in whatever primary language that individual has. So we're trying to move in that direction. Again, money is an issue for us, Steve, as you know. And we've had some other ideas about other type of media utilization, but our complaint number, we wanted a 1-800 number, but we can't afford it. So it's a 763 number that people have to call to if they want to call in a complaint regarding bias or discrimination. Okay.
Now you've got an event that's coming up on October 9th. That's at the Monticello Community Center right off I-94 in Monticello. Andre, could you talk a little bit about what that event is going to be?
Yeah, we spoke earlier a lot about the staff looking a certain way and not reflecting the community. And to be quite honest, I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. And so what do we do with those staff and those staff members, and what do we do to support them in trying to help achieve equality and justice for all? Sorry for the pun, but okay. But really starting to focus on how do we help them become more effective in their jobs. And so on October 9th, we'll be doing some workshops that really help to change the paradigm of people who are working within our judicial system. Because if we can change the way people think, then we can change the way people act. And it's been proven over and over again how important your worldview is in executing your duties, whatever they might be. And so our challenge is really to help people think differently about their own biases, about other people's biases, and then how do you negotiate and work through some of that old behavior that we've been taught over time. It is my belief that people do the best they can with what they have, but oftentimes it's short. It doesn't reach the goal that they intended. And so if we help teach people a different way of being or a different way of thinking and different way of behaving, then they can help us to achieve these goals of equity and equality within our judicial system.